maybe you're right. We need to have some global consensus or have some global new narrative.
When you were just selling us shallow goods, we didn't care about your political system. But if you want to sell me deep goods, suddenly the difference in values matters.
I think China in this globalization, of course, since China, this year is also the Nixon, Kissinger visit China 50 years when China-US normalized the relation. But it was also China joined WTO for 20 years, whereas China's GDP has really gone up 10, 12 times. But then, China has been able to, prosper. China embraced globalization, and China lifted 800 million people out of poverty and things like that. But China also has a lot to be blamed by Western countries. One of the reasons I'm thinking though is that I read one of your on the January 26th column on the New York Times is that made in the U.S. Socialism for the rich and capitalism for the rest. Basically, I saw you have mentioned a number there, which is also a surprise to me, is the American rich is 10%, who owns more than 80% of the stock, have seen their wealth more than tripled in 30 years, while the bottom 50 wage earners had zero gains. So of course China has been able to export and do that, but also kept the inflation low in the U.S. Particularly the Trump era, I mean, he blamed everything on China for this widening gap. Whereas China actually managed to lift the 800 million people out of poverty is really to avoid extreme poverty. So maybe you're right. We need to have some global consensus or have some global new narratives on that. What do you think of those?
Yeah, look, U.S.-China relations. Let's talk about that a little bit because it's gotten very complicated. I'll just give you my view of that, and it's related to your question. Because you mentioned the anniversary. And so the point I made this at the CDF, Henry, is that I think the 4 decades of U.S.-China relation, 1979 to 2019, that will go down as an epoch in U.S.-China relations. And unfortunately, that epoch is over. Why is it over? Well, I'm going to come back to the word deep. Because for most of those 40 years, say 30 of those 40 years, China sold us mostly shallow goods, goods we wore on our shoulders, shoes we wore on our feet, solar panels we put on our roof. I call those shallow goods. We sold China deep goods, computers, software, things that went inside the CCG, right in your office, American computers, software, right in Henry's office, right in his home, maybe in his phone. Yeah. We sold you deep things, you sold us shallow things for the most part, okay? But when China, by its own development, its own technological development, over the last 10 years has been able to make deep goods. Huawei 5G, very deep good. And now they've come to America and said, we want to sell you our deep goods, just like you sold us your deep goods. We want to sell Tom Friedman Huawei that will go in his house and answer his telephone, okay? Yeah. And what we said was, whoa, wait a minute. When you were just selling us shallow goods, we didn't care about your political system. But if you want to sell me deep goods here in Bethesda, if you want Huawei to answer my phone, okay, then suddenly the difference in values matters. And that's where the absence of trust, the absence of shared trust between our two countries now really matters.
Yeah, no, I agree, Tom, that we really need a deep dialogue on that. That's exactly the purpose of this as well. Maybe we should have a little bit more tolerance to a different system. Like President Biden said, okay, he comes out, he said, we like to have a competition, even fierce competition, but we also can cooperate as well. So for Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said at the NPC section, first time that, okay, we can have a peaceful competition too, and let's have a cooperation. So as a Soviet Union, Cold War kind of a mentality. So I think there's a lot of catch up to do, So that's probably China, a lot of people in China think like that.